Man, I can't believe this shit right now. The Pacquiao Errol Spence fight just was announced officially, and Pacquiao actually put a post on his Instagram where he showed um, basically a fight poster of him and Spence on there, basically announcing their fight on Saturday, August 21st. So that's a couple of months away, man, but that's the fight everybody's been waiting for. And it got me super hyped up, man. I was like, what? I mean, I know they had discussed it before, and there was some discussion about the fight happening and all that. And you know how it is in boxing, man. There's always conversation and discussion about all these fights, and a lot of times it's bullshit and never really comes through. But it's official. Anytime I see it on one of the fighters' page, you know, not like one of them boxing news outlets or whatever it is, boxing live news or any of that, I usually don't trust those. I mean, maybe a couple days afterwards, that's when I'll actually be like, okay, it's official. But if Spence or Manny actually posted on their page, then I'm like, all right, now they're actually saying this is legitimate, because they typically just don't post anything without having everything down. So I'm super excited. I think this is gonna be an amazing fight. Both guys are southpaws. You know, Pacquiao is 42 years old. He's gonna be 43 in December. So the fact that he's still fighting basically what many consider the top 147 pounder in the world. That's almost half his age. So the fact that this dude is still fighting dudes that are basically the best in that weight class at the age that he's in is ridiculous. I mean, if he somehow beats Spence, I mean, he's always been on the fence for a lot of people, including myself, on who's the GOAT of this era. And it's usually down to between Floyd and Manny. And I'm always on the fence between the two because they're both great in their own kind of way. But if somehow Manny beats Spence in this fight, dude, you would have to put him as the best of this era. I mean, I don't see how you cannot. For a dude that's 42, has a belt in 8 divisions, 8 weight classes, and then to be able to beat the number one dude at 147 at the age he's at. I mean, he beat Thurman, he beat Broner. You know, Broner's okay. Lucas Matisse was before that. And then obviously he had a couple up and downs with like the Jeff Horn fight, Tim Bradley. But I mean, his resume, you know, we don't have to speak about that. But yeah, he might be the best of this era, or maybe the best ever, depending on how you look at it. I still have Sugar Ray Robinson as my number one, but it would be hard to dispute Manny's resume at that point after August 21st. So I'm really excited for Sunday, August 22nd, because there's probably going to be another one of these videos. It's either going to be me saying, damn, Manny's the GOAT, or Spence is exactly what we thought he was. He's amazing too. So, I mean, you got to give credit to Spence too for taking this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember seeing an interview, I think it was Fight Hype or Fight Hub TV, where Spence was like, if he's fighting a guy like Manny, of a guy of Manny's caliber, then he doesn't really care if he's the A or the B side, because he just wants to get his name in that legacy fight. So I give my hats off to Spence for taking this fight as well and not making up excuses. So I guess Manny got the contract and signed off on it, which is amazing to see, because you really don't see that in this era that much anymore, man. Everyone's kind of waiting for that big money fight. You know, where, for example, I mean, the Canelo, right? Now he wants to fight Caleb Plant so he can collect all the belts. And I know Caleb Plant has fought, the last 3 guys he fought were kind of, you know, whatever, no-name dudes. And now he wants to be undisputed. Well, it's like, well, you didn't want to be undisputed before, but now you want to fight Canelo and take all his belts. So I feel like this era is a lot of these dudes that don't want to fight the top guy, and they want somebody else to kind of do the vacuuming for them, all the cleaning, and then they want to come and swoop in and take all the belts at the last minute. And the fact that Manny and Errol can do that for the fans. I mean, this is the biggest win for fans, right? It's really a big win for all of us in the boxing community, you know, that they're giving this fight. So I'm just happy about that. I was really looking forward to the Jose Ramirez fight tomorrow. That's going to be on ESPN. I'm looking forward to that fight. But now, damn, I can't even think right now. That fight with Pacquiao and Spence. I mean, there's going to be so many videos up to that, leading up to that fight. Obviously with their training and the interviews. Yeah, I think Ugas lost his chance. I mean, you got to pull the trigger and obviously Errol's going to take the Manny fight over the Ugas fight. It's going to bring him the legacy fight that he's looking for, and it's going to bring him the money. Because Manny, outside of Canelo, who else is the big ticket in boxing? Manny, really? You know, like the big money ticket is going to be Manny or Canelo. That's going to give you that big payday. As far as who's going to win this fight, probably Spence. I mean, I'm rooting for Manny to win just because that's Manny. But I mean, if I were to look at it, and it's really hard to say from fight to fight. I mean, age does catch up with you, and you can see that even in the Thurman fight when he fought Thurman towards the end of the fight. And you can see Manny was starting to tire out a little bit more than he typically would when he was a little bit younger. So, and to me, Spence is a better all-around boxer than Thurman, and has great power. And he's also left-handed too, like Manny. So that all plays into it, all factors into that fight with Spence and Pacquiao. But I think Pacquiao has a good chance because I don't think Spence has ever fought anybody like Manny either. He hasn't fought anybody. Look at what happened in the Floyd-Pacquiao fight. You know, that was a close fight. I think Floyd won. But even Floyd himself said that was the hardest fight he ever had, one of the hardest fight he ever had. Up there with the Cotto fight and even the what's that dude he fought in 2006 or 2007, that Floyd Sharmba Mitchell. I remember that fight with Floyd. He said that was a tough one too. But yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a good fight, man. That's all I can say. It's hard to pick who's going to win. I think Spence will probably decision him. But you never know, man. Manny might be able to surprise a lot of people, even at this age. If he does win, I'd like to see him retire. I really don't think, win or lose, actually, I don't really think there's anything left for Manny if he beats or loses to Spence. I mean, after that, it's really, you're just doing it for the money and trying to just fill up your savings account, really. That's really what it is. Because outside of that, who's left? Danny Garcia? I mean, why would you take that fight? You already hit Sean Porter, you know what I'm saying? So not really much left. I mean, he literally Manny was like, screw it, just give me your top dude, I'll fight him. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else do I have to lose? My legacy is already sealed. If I'm still going to be active in this boxing game and I want to be competitive and I feel like I still can prove myself and give more to the fans, then screw it, I'll just fight the top dude and call it a day afterwards, win or lose, right? If you're just going to go out, you might as well try to go out on top. If you fail, whatever, your legacy is still sealed. Like, everyone is Pacquiao. Nobody else is going to dispute that. But if you win, that just elevates you even higher. So you really don't. I mean, to me, Manny doesn't really have anything to lose if you think about it. And obviously Errol does. I mean, if Errol loses, then people are going to be like, he fought some dude that's old. Which I think is a bit unfair because you got to give credit to both sides. So I think they both win, man. I think regardless of who wins or loses, I think both dudes win because it shows that Errol said, screw it, I'm just going to take this fight with Manny. Manny said, screw it, let's just make the fight happen for the fans. We're both going to make a lot of money together. We're both going to have a legacy after this. I think it's a win-win situation. It's actually a perfect fight. And I don't even know what's going on with Crawford. You know, it was the whole negotiation between Crawford and Spence. I mean, that was supposed to be something that was going to happen. And you know, that's the thing I don't like about boxing, all this stalling out between fighters and promoters and all that. It's crazy, you know? So, I don't know, man. I'm really excited for this. It's going to be an exciting next couple of months. Obviously, we have a lot of other fights coming up, too. We have I think the arbitration just got done with Tyson Fury, so I guess he has to fight Wilder again. So that's going to be interesting. Although I did want to see him fight Joshua. I don't know what's going to happen. That whole arbitration thing is kind of confusing to me on what exactly happens. There's so much corruption in boxing. But this is going to be an exciting couple of months, man. So I'll talk to you guys soon, man. Peace.